What was supposed to be a breathtaking underwater adventure in one of the most beautiful places on Earth has turned into a devastating international tragedy. In the turquoise waters of the Maldives, 5 Italian divers set out on what should have been the highlight of their expedition. Instead, they never returned to the surface. Days later, after an intense and dangerous recovery mission, authorities confirmed the worst. All 5 divers were dead, and the details of what happened deep inside an underwater cave have shocked the world. This story has everything that makes a tragedy even more haunting: a respected marine science professor, her young daughter, talented researchers with promising futures, a veteran dive instructor, and a rescue diver who lost his own life while trying to bring the victims home. What happened in the Maldives is not just a diving accident. It is a heartbreaking story of ambition, trust, mystery, and the deadly risks that can hide beneath paradise. The Maldives is known as one of the most stunning destinations in the world. With crystal-clear waters, colorful coral reefs, and luxury resorts, it attracts travelers from every corner of the globe. For divers, it is considered a dream location. Whale sharks, manta rays, sea turtles, and dramatic underwater landscapes make it one of the most sought-after diving destinations anywhere on Earth. But beneath that postcard-perfect surface lies a very different reality. The ocean can be unpredictable and unforgiving. Strong currents, deep caves, and changing weather conditions can transform a dream excursion into a life-threatening situation in seconds. Even the most experienced divers know that the sea does not forgive mistakes. The 5 victims were not beginners. They were highly trained and deeply passionate about the ocean. Their trip to the Maldives was meant to combine exploration, science, and adventure. Friends and colleagues described them as careful, knowledgeable, and fully aware of the risks involved in deep diving. Among the victims was Monica Montefalcone, a 51-year-old marine ecologist and associate professor at the University of Genoa in Italy. Monica was a respected scientist who devoted her life to studying and protecting marine ecosystems. She was admired for her intelligence, dedication, and deep love for the sea. Monica had spent years researching seagrass meadows and coastal habitats. Her work helped scientists understand how marine environments respond to pollution and climate change. She was not only a professor, but also a mentor to students and a trusted voice in environmental science. Traveling with Monica was her 22-year-old daughter, Giorgia Sommacal. Giorgia shared her mother's passion for the ocean and science. Those who knew her described her as bright, curious, and full of promise. She was just beginning her own journey with an exciting future ahead of her. The thought of a mother and daughter losing their lives together has added a particularly emotional layer to this tragedy. For many people following the story, this has been the most heartbreaking of all. They were not just divers, they were family. Also among the victims was Muriel Oddenino, a 31-year-old researcher with a strong academic background and a love of marine exploration. She was known as a thoughtful and talented scientist whose work had already earned respect among colleagues. Federico Gualtieri was another member of the group. While less publicly known than some of the others, he was remembered by friends as adventurous, kind, and deeply committed to the expedition. His death has left loved ones in shock. Leading the dive was Gianluca Benedetti, a veteran dive instructor with years of experience. He had guided numerous advanced dives and was considered highly skilled. For a diver of his caliber to perish in the incident immediately raised serious questions about what could have gone wrong. The group was traveling aboard a live-aboard vessel called Duke of York. These specialized boats serve as floating bases for divers, allowing them to access remote sites far from shore. The vessel was part of a guided diving expedition through some of the Maldives' most famous underwater locations. On May 14, 2026, the divers entered the waters near Alimatha in Vaavu Atoll. This area is famous for its marine life and dramatic underwater formations. It is also known for powerful currents and challenging dive conditions that require precision and experience. The destination that day was an underwater cave system. Unlike open water dives, cave diving introduces extreme danger. Divers must navigate confined spaces in complete darkness, relying entirely on their equipment and training. One wrong turn can lead to disorientation. A damaged regulator can become fatal. Silt stirred from the cave floor can reduce visibility to zero, and because there's no direct path to the surface, panic can turn deadly almost instantly. The cave entrance was located at approximately 50 meters, or 164 feet below the surface. This is far deeper than most recreational dives and well beyond the legal recreational limit in the Maldives. At that depth, the body and mind are under immense pressure. Nitrogen narcosis can affect judgment. Air consumption increases rapidly. Decompression obligations become more complex. Every decision must be exact, and there is little room for error. When the 5 divers failed to return on schedule, concern quickly turned to alarm. Crew members and fellow divers realized something had gone terribly wrong. An emergency response was launched immediately. Search teams descended to investigate. The first body recovered was that of instructor Gianluca Benedetti, found near the entrance to the cave. This suggested he may have attempted to help the others before succumbing himself. The remaining 4 divers were located much deeper inside the cave system. Their position made recovery extremely difficult. The passages were narrow, the depth was dangerous, and every minute underwater carried enormous risk. Maldivian authorities mobilized a large-scale operation. Divers from the National Defense Force joined the effort, along with local experts and international technical specialists. The mission was as complex as it was emotional. Then tragedy struck again. During the recovery effort, a Maldivian rescue diver named Mohamed Mahudhee suffered decompression illness. Despite emergency treatment, he died. He had risked his life to bring the victims back to their families and paid the ultimate price. His death transformed the story from a terrible accident into a profound act of sacrifice. Across the Maldives, he was hailed as a hero. Many said he embodied courage, duty, and selflessness. Because of the extreme conditions, a team of Finnish technical divers was brought in. Using advanced rebreathers and specialized cave diving equipment, they began the painstaking task of recovering the remaining bodies. Each descent required meticulous planning. Divers had to manage gas supplies, decompression stops, and the challenge of maneuvering through confined underwater passages while carrying the deceased. Over several days, the operation continued under intense pressure. Families in Italy waited anxiously for updates, hoping for closure even as the outcome was already known. On May 19th, 2 more bodies were recovered. The following day, the final 2 were brought to the surface. Authorities then confirmed that all 5 members of the Italian group had been found. The recovery marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Investigators now faced the difficult task of determining exactly what happened inside the cave. Several theories emerged. One possibility is that a strong current pulled the divers deeper into the cave. In narrow underwater passages, water can accelerate dramatically, creating a force powerful enough to overwhelm even experienced divers. Another theory focuses on equipment malfunction. A regulator problem, gas contamination, or failure in buoyancy systems could have triggered a chain reaction. Some experts have also discussed the possibility of an incorrect breathing gas mixture. At 50 meters, oxygen toxicity and nitrogen narcosis can impair judgment and coordination. Visibility may have played a role as well. If silt was disturbed, the cave could have turned completely dark, leaving the group disoriented and unable to locate the exit. It is also possible that one diver experienced a problem and the others attempted a rescue. In technical diving, helping a teammate is instinctive, but it can place the entire group at risk. Maldivian authorities are examining dive computers, equipment, permits, and any video footage recovered from the scene. These devices may reveal depth profiles, ascent attempts, and critical moments before the tragedy. Questions have also been raised about planning and oversight. Were the conditions suitable for such a dive? Was the group using the correct equipment? Were all protocols followed? For the victims' families, these questions are deeply personal. Monica Montefalcone's husband, Giorgia Sommacal, spoke publicly with remarkable dignity. He said his wife was one of the most skilled divers he had ever known, and that something extraordinary must have happened. He insisted she would never knowingly place their daughter in danger. Those words resonated with people around the world and underscored the confidence many had in Monica's expertise. The University of Geneva released a heartfelt statement mourning the loss of Monica, Giorgia, and Muriel. Colleagues described them as brilliant minds whose contributions to science would have a lasting impact. Environmental organizations also paid tribute to Monica's dedication to marine conservation. Many recalled her enthusiasm when discussing the wonders of the ocean. Social media was flooded with messages of grief. Divers shared personal stories, scientists posted tributes, and strangers expressed heartbreak over the loss of a mother and daughter. The diving community has responded with both sorrow and reflection. Many professionals say this accident is a reminder that experience reduces risk but never eliminates it. Cave diving is often described as one of the most demanding forms of underwater exploration. It requires discipline, redundancy, and absolute respect for limits. When accidents happen in such environments, they are rarely caused by a single mistake. More often, several factors align at the worst possible moment. The Maldives has built a global reputation as a diving paradise. This disaster has prompted calls for stricter oversight of deep and technical excursions. Tour operators may face increased scrutiny. Authorities are expected to review regulations, licensing, and emergency preparedness procedures. For Italy, the tragedy has struck especially hard because the victims were admired members of the scientific community. Students who once sat in Monica's lectures now mourn a mentor who inspired them to protect the sea she loved. Friends of Giorgia remember a young woman with endless curiosity and a bright future that was tragically cut short. Muriel Oddenino's colleagues say her passion for research and discovery will not be forgotten. Federico Gualtieri is remembered as an adventurous spirit whose life ended far too soon. Gianluca Benedetti is being honored as an experienced instructor who likely did everything possible to guide and protect his group. Mohamed Mahudhee is remembered as a hero who sacrificed his own life in the service of others. 6 families are now living with unimaginable grief, and the world is left with a haunting contrast. One of the most beautiful places on Earth became the setting for one of the most devastating diving tragedies in recent memory. Beneath calm turquoise waters, a series of events unfolded that forever changed dozens of lives. The ocean that Monica spent her career studying and protecting also became the place where she and her daughter took their final breaths. There's something deeply emotional about that reality. A scientist devoted to understanding the sea, a daughter following in her footsteps, friends and colleagues united by curiosity and passion, all lost in the darkness of an underwater cave. As investigators continue their work, families hope for answers. They want to know what happened. They want to know whether it could have been prevented, and they want to ensure that lessons are learned so that no other family endures this pain. Until then, the story remains a sobering reminder of the ocean's beauty and its power. It inspires awe, but it demands respect, and sometimes even the most prepared explorers do not return. The names of Monica Montefalcone, Giorgia Sommacal, Muriel Oddenino, Federico Gualtieri, Gianluca Benedetti, and Mohamed Mahudhee will now be remembered together. Their lives touched science, adventure, and heroism. Their loss has united communities across nations, and their story will not be forgotten. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on the biggest stories from around the world.